Hi everyone, so in this video we are attempting the Check Your Learning 1.10 problem from the OpenStax textbook. We are on chapter 1. So hopefully at this point you have worked on the problem that comes right before it, which actually shows you the solution. And this one is to do on your own, but we're going to do it together and we're going to check our answer. So notice I have a couple things ready. So I have the link for our conversion factors. This is going to be very important. I have the link to this problem in the textbook, which shows the answer. Now we're not going to click that yet. We'll click that once we're done. And then I have my calculator and I have space to write and set up my problem so we can solve it. So a Toyota Prius hybrid uses 59.7 liters of gas to drive from San Francisco to Seattle, which is 1,300 kilometers, 2 sig figs. It's letting you know. So right away, we probably know that our final answer will have 2 sig figs. But that's not the main idea of this problem. The main idea of this problem is dimensional analysis using conversion factors. So what average fuel economy in miles per gallon did the Prius get during this trip? So we know that we have 59.7 liters and traveled this distance, 1,300 km. So we need to convert. So those are our knowns, right? Our unknown we need to convert this liter to gallon, and then we need to convert the kilometer to miles. So we need to take each of those and then divide the miles per gallon, or miles divided by gallon, and that will give us the average fuel economy. Okay, so 59.7 liters of gas. How do we get to gallons? So that is where, like I said, our conversion factors really come in handy. So there may be several ways you can go about this. If I'm just happening to choose something different from you, that's okay. As long as you end up getting to where you need, that's fine. So I'm gonna use what's here, which is 1 liter to quarts. Quarts is connected to gallons. I know, unfortunately, it's not on here, but 4 quarts equal a gallon. So with that in mind, so we know that 1 liter equals 1.567 quarts, and 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. So those are the ones we're going to use right now. So the hard part is always setting it up, but we know that we always want to cancel out our known units to get different units, basically our unknown units. So here we want to cancel out liters. So whatever number is in front of liters is going to stay with it. You leave it attached, and then we're going to put the other portion of the conversion factor here on top. So now we canceled out liters. Now we need to cancel out quarts because that's not gallons yet. And we have our conversion factor up here. It's 4 quarts for 1 gallon. And there we go. Now we're at gallons. So we're going to go ahead and type this into the calculator. So this is my scientific calculator, has everything you need here. I always use parentheses to be safe. Since you're just starting out doing these calculations in chemistry, I highly recommend you to use parentheses when needed. Okay, so 59.7, that's our starting value. Now, do we need to divide? We don't, so I'm going to delete that. What we need to do first, I'm going to do this first. You could do it in a different order if you want. I'm going to multiply this by 1.0567. Now I don't need to actually do the divided by 1 because it's just going to give you the same answer. So we're going to multiply that times 1.0567. I always do one operation at a time. So that's my first part. I finished that. Now I'm going to divide by 4. So I'm going to take that answer. It automatically takes your previous answer and like it's there. It's just not written out. But it takes your answer, and now we're going to divide by 4. Like I said, just get into the habit of using parentheses. Okay, so now we have our value. Do not take off any sig figs yet. You take those off at the end. So we have 15.7712 gallons. Okay, so we're done with half. Next, we need to convert the kilometers to miles. And luckily, this one's going to be much easier. Ooh, kilometer. So let's pull up our conversion factors. 1 kilometer equals this many miles, 0.62137. So that's a direct conversion factor. We don't have to do, you know, this 2-step how we did earlier for gallons. Now, what was it again? I forgot already. So it is 1 km equals to 0.62137 miles. Sorry. Anyway, kilometers canceled out, and now we can type this into the calculator. And luckily, since it's just 2 numbers being multiplied, we don't really need to type in a bunch of parentheses. So whenever you have a situation like that, very simple, you don't need the parentheses, but for the most part, stick to using parentheses for every single calculation. 62137, and that gives us 807.781 miles. Okay, so the problem is asking for miles per gallon. What we need to do is divide this by the gallons. Remember, we're keeping all sig figs necessary until the very end. So let's go ahead and take that 807, and we can just go ahead and press divide, and it populates your answer there for you. And we're going to divide. Again, this is a simple operation, so you don't necessarily need the parentheses, but always be safe. And here we have our 51.2187 miles per gallon. Okay, remember, last step, 2 sig figs. So we want this to be 2 sig figs. We're looking at that 2. That 2 is not greater than 5, so the 51 does not increase. So our final answer is 51 miles per gal. Now, for the fun part, let's go check our answer. And we got it right, 51 miles per gallon. So in the next video, I will be completing